Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So as you have seen on my screen, so today's video is very important and very interesting, that is related to variable in Power BI. So we will learn and we will try to know what is the variable in Power BI. Most DAX formulas become complicated not because the logic is tough, but because we don't structure them properly. And the simplest way to make your DAX clean, fast, and professional is by using the variable. Okay. So in this video, you will understand what variable is, why it's used, and how to apply it with a real example. So as you can check here in Y section, I have given them why we need to use the variable. Okay. In the end of this video, I will give you some interview ready-made example, okay, so that you will easily crack your interview. And if your interviewer is asking anything related to the variable, then you will be easy to break them down and easy to explain them. So stay tuned the video till last. First check this, and then later on we will do some workshop, and later on I will provide you all those questions as well. So first of all, as you can check here, why we are using the variable, because to avoid repeating the same calculation again and again, and for improving the performance of the PI. Second thing, if you are using the variable, then you are breaking the complex tax logic into the smaller one that is going to be readable, okay, and anyone can understand. Suppose you have written some DAX formula, you have written some DAX calculation, and that was very long, and today you have written, and tomorrow someone else is going to take care of that particular project. He or she need to take a time to understand what you have written, so that if you have written the DAX, even if you are going to debug that, you will be easily to understand what you have done 2 year before, or any new person also. And that's I have given this so for debugging easier. And second thing, it will allow to write a cleaner, more maintainable, and professional grade measure for real projects, and to ensure calculation run only once. It will reduce your engine load, it will make your visual faster. Okay, so this is all about why we are going to use the variable in our project. Now let's jump to the workshop, and we'll check it practically how we are going to use the variable and what is the outcome we are getting it here. So let's jump into that. All right. So here we are having one fact seal table. I'll just show you here. In this fact seal table, we are having some date, products, category, reason, quantity, unit price, sales cost, and discount. Okay. Okay. So let's say here we wanted year on year growth percentage. So how we can do that? First of all, I'll just try to drag, a table. I'll try to show you here how many years we are having into this. I'll remove this day, month, quarter. So we are having from 2017 to 2024. I'll keep the sales. Okay. Now we have to get it here. We have to check if 2024 sales was this much, 2023 this much, whether it was, how many percentage of growth or drop was there. So we wanted year on year growth. How we can do that? We will use here in variable, and I will show you how we can get those information or those details using the variables, how the variables are going and keeping the record or keeping the outcome inside those variables, and then we are using the variables to get the final result using the return DAX functions. Okay, we'll check it here. I'm trying to create one measure here, and that measure will be year on year growth. Let's rename this, so that will be year on year. Okay, and growth percentage. All right. So here we will use first of all what is the date. Okay, we have to get one maximum date here, so one variable for current year. Okay, so that will be simply, since we are having only 2024, otherwise we can use some year of today, but the today's year is 2025, and we are having the maximum year is 2024. First of all, we will take the max of that date column is here. So we will take the max of that date, and then we will take whatever the dates we are having the maximum date, we will take those year. Okay, so I'll show you using the result option, using the return option, how this is giving one output. So I'm using return with, okay, DAX function, and I'm returning here current year. So simply I will copy and paste here, enter here, and now I will try to drag one card. Okay, and I'll try to minimize because this is very very big. So I'll try to add here year on year. So you can check here. Now I'm getting, since I have used the year, that's why I'm getting the 2024. If I will remove this year, then maybe I will get the 2024, whatever the maximum date there. Okay. Like the same, I have to create the variable for the previous year. Okay. So I will create first all the variable, then I will let you know how I have used the variable or why I have used the variable. I can do the same thing without using the variable, but what could be the difference between them? Then you will understand this perfectly. Okay. So I will use variable previous year, and previous year simply it will be, we have already the current year, so I will use the current year variable and -1. That's perfectly done. Now for getting the year on year growth percentage, what is the logic? I'll just tell you the logic. So the logic to get this thing, that is simply we wanted current year sale minus previous year sale, and then whatever the result we will get, that we have to divide from previous year sale. So this is the logic, okay, for getting this year on year growth. Now we will use one another variable, and this variable we are going to store the current year sale. Okay, current year sale. And here how we can get the current year sale? We will use the calculate function. We will use sum of sales. That's very simple. And here we will use the all function to avoid any kind of the filter have been applied. If you have not watched my previous video how to, like, how the all accept and all selected is going to work, I will keep that video in I button. Go and check that, so that you will be clear why I'm using the all function and what is the benefit of that. Okay, so that all I'm going to use into the fact sales. Okay, now the filter another expression I will simply keep. So the next expression will be simply, I will take the year from my date, okay, year, and that will be from the date, which should be equally to my current year. So it will check and compare, like whatever the current year, the maximum year will be there. Only those year sales I'm going to get. Okay, I'm simply going to close that. So if I'll change this return from current year to current year sale, so now you will get, for because this was for the 2024, so you will get 484 something of your sales. So now you can check it here perfectly. Okay, as like the current year sale, I have to get previous year sales also. So I will copy that, I'll go here and paste the same formula, and instead of this current year, I'll have to keep the previous year. Okay, and now if I'll change from current year to previous year, this should be 500 something million sales. Now you can check here. Okay, now the last thing is there, how you can get that formula. So simply what you have to do, current year sale minus previous year sales. What I will do, I will use current year sale, okay, minus previous year sale. Already this have been done. And now, so now I will use the here divide function. Okay, now this divide function, this is the numerator, and the another denominator, what I will use, have to use previous year sale. Simply I will copy this, I will paste here, and I closed it. Now I will get the return as a year on year growth. How to check that? Simply I will use one line chart. Okay, and into the line chart there is y axis, and into the x axis I will drag and drop the year. So I will remove date, month, quarter. I will keep only the year. Okay, and this function I have to change into the percentage. I'll click on the percentage. Now I will have the every information. Okay, if you wanted me to turn on the data label, so that I can turn on for you. So now you can check that what are the year on year growth percentage. You can check there from 2018, 19, 20, 21. You can check there from 2020 to 21, there was a huge growth, because you can check here that was 37 million, it was 52 million, and then again you can check it. Okay, so what you have checked here in year on year growth percentage, we have created one current year, and this current year is running some measure and keeping the record here. This previous year is running some measure and keeping the record here. Current year sale, there is some measure have been written, and whatever the output coming from this measure, it is storing here. And same into the previous year sale, whatever the measure this is going to run is keeping the store here. And then simply this is keeping the output, this is keeping the output, and this is keeping the output a scalar value. We are finally getting the result. Okay, okay, all right. Now I will tell you about this questions, like how interviewer is going to ask you in the interview related to the variable, and you are going to stuck here. Okay, so I'll tell you so many questions. I'll try to reveal those questions, like and how you need to prepare them. The first question, they will ask you, what is the variable in DAX and how do we use it? So for you, there is an answer. Variable is used to store the intermediate result inside a measure, like how we have done. So this is the result which is going to store into this variable. Okay. So DAX doesn't recalculate the same logic again. It makes the measure cleaner, faster, easier to debug, and more readable. Okay. So this current year sales already have kept and stored the data inside this. If I'm calling this again here in return function, this is not going to reuse again. Already there is a output stored and only that output is keeping here. Okay. Next question they can ask, how does variable improve tax performance? So you need to tell them, when you repeat the same logic multiple times, DAX recalculate it every time, and with the variable the calculation runs only once and it stores into the memory. That is going to reduce the engine load and improve the performance. Okay. The third question they can ask, what is the difference between variable and a separate measure? You can tell them, a measure is reusable across the entire model, but a variable exists only inside the measure where it is defined. So variable is for internal step, a measure is for global logic. I mean to say, if I have defined that variable current year sale, you cannot call it outside of this measure. But if you have created year on year growth tax measure, you can call it in another measure also as well. Okay. And second thing, can we use variable inside calculate? Why or why not? So we can say here, yes, B can use the variable inside calculate. So variable is evaluated before the filter context is modified. So it's give a stable, predictable result. It's a best practice when writing complex calculate logic. Now I'll tell you the bonus. So how does variable help in debugging tags? You can check here with variable. You can return any intermediate variable to test your logic. Instead of checking a long formula, you check each step separately. So debugging becomes extremely fast. Now the next bonus for you, what is the biggest advantage of using variable? So you have a very short answer, that is going to be have a structure. Okay. Variable converts messy DAX into clean step by step logic. That's why almost every expert DAX formula start with variable. So now you can understand, you can relate every whatever the question I have given to you, all the question you can relate from this particular DAX function where I have used the variable. So I hope you have liked this video. If you have liked this, please hit the like button, subscribe the channel, and thank you so much for watching this video. Keep learning, keep growing.